last game, of course, Nerchio, a little bit caught off guard. I still think you're right when you mentioned that he didn't know about the mothership, because there was just no other excuse why you would not prepare accordingly and just spread your
Yeah.
blue lots out a little bit more.
I think it was his first time seeing it, and he was like, GG, I guess.
But be it as it may, we are on map number 2 now, not the first one. Bottom left, we have in red our Zerg player from Poland. It is AcerNerchio. And starting cross positioned on Grand Lagoon to the top right, we have starting for himself, Genius, the Protoss player in blue.
Genius current teamless. It would be really weird if Genius joined Evil Geniuses.
No.
Would he make his ID E-Genius?
No. That would remind me too much of E-Penis and stuff like that.
Yeah.
E-Genius? Nah.
That would be weird. I don't think I could. If my ID were Genius, I'd be like, sorry, EG. It doesn't matter how much money Sir Scoots throws, but well, I guess Genius could change his ID though. He could be like EG Smarty.
EG Smarty.
EG Smarty Pants. EG Know It All.
You have the worst ideas ever. Nicknames. I need a new nickname. Make sure that I never ask you.
I had a few ideas for you, but I guess.
Yeah, let me guess. Baldy.
How'd you know?
I hate you. I hate you so much.
EG Shaven. If you were joining EG.
Oh my god. Spawning pool first, of course, for Nerchio here. Sees the probe, doesn't even attempt to get a hatch first. Some Zerg players these days try to do it. Most of the time they actually get cannoned, but in this case it doesn't really happen. We have a safe opening for Nerchio. Genius, on the other hand, Forge first built here on Grand Lagoon.
Yeah.
Expansion also being placed down by his opponent now. Both of them with a very similar timing.
The Nexus is pretty far away from the wall on this map. Doesn't normally matter, but if the rocks are destroyed, some weird stuff can happen. Makes a second pylon at the top of the ramp, which means that's probably where he's going to make his robo. Because I don't think he's going to try to use Stargate on this map because it's to take a third base.
Yeah, the thing is with the Stargate on this map, I mean, you can do it, but for example, Void Race is kind of out of the option because of how long the distance between those two bases is, unless you go for proxy Stargate.
Yeah, which then, nobody does really anymore.
Yeah, then you have, of course, Phoenixes, which can always help you a little bit, but still. The timings here, I feel like this is a bit of an awkward map for Protoss.
Yeah, I actually agree as well.
Third base now for Nerchio, going for the hatch at 4 minutes. Pretty stand-up timing.
These maps that are coming out that are bigger and weird with their thirds, I'm not liking them too much. I don't really like maps where it's like, well, third's kind of tough to take, but you can just do a 2-base attack, and the map's really big as well, so it's kind of hard for you to do your 2-base attack.
On the other hand, Protoss players somehow always figure out how to take that third base. I mean,
yeah, they do.
They wouldn't be able to take it on Cloud Kingdom. Now everyone does it. The same is true for Daybreak. People said like you can't take that base on Daybreak, and these days he doesn't go for a third base.
Yeah.
If you don't go for that immortal timing, most Protoss players will take that third base and will actually be safe.
It's true. I feel like I'm in a zoo right now with all these birds. Either that or like some part of the rainforest. This really is like the Grand Lagoon.
I really hope that the viewers can actually hear them too. That they are.
Yeah.
Because then they will be like, birds, what are they talking about?
They're probably thinking
are they
crazy.
High?
Yeah.
No, guys.
Not in Korea.
No. Not in, exactly. Not in Korea.
Nobody is. And there's the robo. We all knew it was coming. He's actually going to make it right at the front.
Yeah, he doesn't even hide it. At the bottom though, Nerchio, okay, how is Nerchio going to prepare right now? If you just look at the base and now at the layout of how this works, he has a lot of entrances that he needs to cover with overlords. The overlord spread needs to be really good. He has to fan them out so that he sees every single entrance. He needs to know if there's a probe coming his way, if there's going to be a forward pylon. Because the scouting that he has at this point is good, but it's not perfect. The Xanaga watchtowers, they are going to be important. And well, as I say,
that's what happens when you minimap click sometimes with your Ling to go to the watchtower. The Ling is like, well, yeah, I guess Nerchio, I guess I can stay outside the line of sight blocker.
No, yeah, no, he has. Only checks it for a second, though. Doesn't leave the link there.
He wants to check for pylons, it looks like, or proxies, more importantly, with the link first.
You know, with something like this, I feel like you can't actually just invest into the second set of links and make sure that you have a constant vision on those two towers. Because especially on Grand Lagoon, they cover so much of the map. Like 95% of the middle is covered by these two towers. So if you have them, you will know what's going on. And what's going on is that Genius is going for this Immortal push.
Yep.
He has those Immortals chrono boosted, he has the first one out already. And if you just think about what Nerchio knows, he has no idea. He doesn't even know there's a robo. There is not even an overlord close to this robotics. There's nothing. And even if he moves out, the next overlord is miles away. If Genius just sends a few units out to clear those Zanaga watchtowers before he attacks, that won't be a problem for Genius at all to sneak across the map without Nerchio being on the right.
Exactly. 6 gates coming down at this point. And this is the most aggressive version of the Immortal push. It's not really the parting version. He's got very few sentries, in fact. He's waiting for the third Immortal, though.
Nerchio has the lair done now. Needs the road speed, of course, that is. Surging speed also not done. Spread is okay-ish. Could be a little bit better, but still decent. Really gonna be important to hold this push. And it's not gonna be long, and yeah, there we go, he's already moving out.
The birds are chirping, the Immortals are walking, man.
Yep. And Nerchio without any kind of higher tech just yet. There's the War Prism being built. And now I feel, now in just a few seconds, now Nerchio knows what's coming.
Yeah, he's seen the sentries, and you know, there's 3 cannons made at home for Genius. So if he tries to 4 in total with the initial cannon there. If he tries to go for a counterattack, he's gonna wish he didn't. So that's something to consider here as this attack moves forward. Will he get a forward pylon up? It doesn't look like he's even gonna try, which is something I always find disappointing when players don't try that, because I think with the forward pylon you could just do so much more with your warp prism, the micro.
Yeah, you can just lift off or just pick up those Immortals and save them if they are being targeted. But right now, Nerchio with a lot more supply, of course. That's the one advantage that Zerg always has in this encounter.
Yeah. Roach speed is not quite done yet, though, and he's going to want that. He's going to want to fight on creep as well. The creep spread is actually really good for Nerchio right now. It's going to help him out quite a bit, but will he have enough? The force fields here, so far so good. He locks most of the Roaches out.
The sentries were a little bit exposed, and so are the Immortals right now, which is, of course, Nerchio's first target. Nice save there on the Immortal. The Roaches in pursuit, one of them already dead. The War Prism hasn't been used by Genius yet to do anything here. Only for the Warp Ends, didn't save this Immortal, and they are crucial.
Yep. Good force fields again here. Genius is trying to wait for some more Warp Ends. The second wave of Roaches that flank is always ready to come in at any time whenever it becomes appropriate.
Nerchio will be supplied.
Yeah, bad rally here on the Overlords.
That's always a problem that Nerchio had for just so long. Bad rallies with the Overlords. Another one dies, and here's the supply log that we just talked about. First few Spine Crawlers are being built, more Overlords queued up.
This is the big problem. I mean, the supply block here is actually changing the game. He's making 6 Overlords with so many resources, but more importantly, the time lost here while Genius is continuing to make units is a big problem. Genius so patient with his force fields, now dropping them down to try to block out these Roaches. Oh, beautifully done. Oh my god.
Grabbing a lot of them. That's a beautiful positioner for Genius right now. Taking them down one by one. Nerchio with 7 Overlords that he just completed. Now has a 200 max supply actually.
Yeah.
And an infestation pit being dropped, but here comes once again Genius, and he has a very strong army right now. Just look at the supply, the gap nearly closed.
Yeah.
Nerchio is at 140, Genius at 120, moving in. The force fields are good, so many Roaches trapped.
That shield was perfect. They don't even touch each other, but if you had all those force fields touching, it would have taken a 5th one. But he actually just had just enough space in between them where a Ling could get through, but a Roach could not.
He moves down now, and this is a great position for Genius to be in. A very, very strong army, and with only Roaches and Zergling, it's going to be tough for Nerchio to defend against him. Very cautious movements and positionings here by Genius as well.
Genius is just so good at this, and that's it. GG.
Wow, Nerchio apparently really a little bit angry here, not even waiting for the battle to end. He's just looking at the position. He's like, well, I can't beat that.
I felt like, you know, on a big map like this, if Genius's forces have been worse, then he would have been able to buy enough time to push him further away from his base, so he could have taken that next step to make the infestation pit. But Genius never gave him the time. But it wasn't like he was rushing him and not giving him that time in that sense. It was just like Nercho couldn't find the way to engage. He's like, well, damn, your force fields are so good. How do I actually find a way?
And after he lost the Overlords, he was supply blocked for a long time. Then he lost these roaches like twice with a beautiful concave and force fields that really worked so well for him. And Genius just moves on, and Nerchio is apparently already a little bit frustrated by game number 1.